Okay, last time I recorded this a few minutes ago, it failed, so let's push me luck this time. And yeah, I know I need a haircut. Looking a bit shaggy today, but what are we talking about? Recent video clip going around. Peter Attia, The Drive podcast with Peter Attia. Extremely knowledgeable guy, very, very good podcast. He was talking to Stuart McGill. If you can see, there's a book, one of Stuart McGill's books on the shelf there behind me. There's a clip doing the rounds, and it's basically Stuart McGill says in quite a black and white manner that if you're chasing deadlift numbers, you're going to end up on the surgery table getting hip replacements. And you shouldn't be doing that. And I gotta say, that set my teeth on edge, and there's been a lot of pushback, not just in the strength and conditioning circles, but also in the physiotherapy circles. I haven't listened to the whole podcast, 3 hours long, so I don't have the full context of the statement, so I'm not really going to go too deep in on it, other than to say, as a soundbite, that 2-minute video clip that's going around, it's bullshit, plain and simple. If you chase numbers in any lift, does that mean you're going to get hurt? If you deadlift, are you going to trash your hips and your back? If you squat, are you going to trash your knees? Your bench press, are you going to trash your shoulders? Who knows? Nobody knows. That's the thing. Nobody knows. There are people who have deadlifted huge weights and are fine. Eddie Holstein doesn't seem to be slowing down. Brian Shaw doesn't seem to be slowing down. Arnold Schwarzenegger seems to be in pretty good nick. Yeah, okay. Ronnie Coleman messed himself up. One example out of how many have I just listed? Roman Felix, strongman who's only just retired, who had some of the best, most consistent deadlift numbers over a career spanning decades of strongman. What Stu McGill is doing is talking out of turn. It raises a couple of points though. One is expertise. You come to me for training, for programming, for injury management. You read my blogs and my newsletters. You're even watching this video and my Instagram and all the rest of it because you view me as an expert. Does that automatically mean everything I tell you is right? Hell no. No. What I tell you might be my best current understanding. Doesn't mean it's right. When I work with clients, we build stories, but we don't say this is that and that is this. We certainly don't do if this, then that. If you deadlift, you will get a hip replacement. If you bench press, you will fuck your shoulders up. The human body is far too nuanced for that to be possibly true. You cannot predict it. You just cannot possibly predict it. So much going on in the body. What we can say is if you over specialize in this, then that means we're not doing all this other stuff. And all this other stuff, what you might need to do to keep you healthy. So if you're specializing or focusing just on the deadlift, are you looking after all the other elements? Or are they being forgotten about? Are they starting to perish in the corner somewhere? They're all going off. Now we might have a problem. And it's not the deadlift that's hurting you. It's the hyper focus on the deadlift. It's the focus on chasing numbers. What we want, I mean, the whole point of strength and conditioning is what we call progressive resistance training. Progressive resistance, gradually increasing the challenge to constantly stimulate what they call supercompensation. I stress the body just enough. It's not just going to recover back to where it was, but it's going to go beyond that. That is supercompensation. Yeah. It's a great term, isn't it? It's in the book Super Training. Great phrase. But so what does it mean? It means two things. One, we cycle training, don't we? And two is we don't fixate on numbers. If you're a competitive lifter, yes, you fixate on numbers because that is your thing. You are a competitive lifter. If you are an athlete who lifts to improve their athleticism, their performance in sport, the numbers ultimately don't matter. There's guidelines. Yeah, we'd like you to hit certain standards. That's it. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. What matters is what you do in the gym increases your performance potential. In doing so, it hopefully reduces your injury risk. We're meant to be building strength, mobility, endurance. We're meant to be building health and fitness. So if you're getting hurt in the gym, is that improving your performance potential or is that reducing your performance potential? If you're getting hurt in the gym, is that building strength, building mobility, building endurance? Or is it reducing strength, reducing mobility, reducing endurance? If you get hurt in the gym, is that increasing your health, increasing your fitness? Or is it decreasing your health, decreasing your fitness? Hopefully they're easy questions to answer. So, chasing numbers, and we've had this conversation many times. It's usually with the big BJJ lads who are all full of testosterone and they want to lift this and squat that and deadlift the other. And in doing so, in the gym, they start to burn themselves out. They're so exhausted from lifting heavy, they can't actually train their jiu-jitsu efficiently. So what do? Give them a clip around the ear, tell them to cop on, and we stop tracking the numbers for a little while. But progressive resistance training. Over time, maybe not as fast as they want. Instead of it being in 3 months, it might be in 8 months, 9 months. Those numbers do go up. I've seen it many times. We train in a well-rounded manner. The jiu-jitsu improves, their sporting performance improves, and almost without realizing it, one day they load up that bar and they smash PRs that they didn't realize they smashed the PRs that they'd always wanted to but could never get there. What does Paul McGill, he's a lovely phrase for it, comfort zone expansion. That's what he calls it. Comfort zone expansion. It's not necessarily PRing every session, but it is gradually expanding the comfort zone every session until you test it one day and all of a sudden you've smashed numbers out of the park. That's how an athlete should train. Your effort, your energy goes into the sports performance, the thing you're training for. And in the gym, I'm not saying you don't put effort in, but it's secondary. Strength conditioning is the support service to the sport. It's not the sport in itself. Unless you're a power lifter, Olympic lifter, kettlebell sport lifter, CrossFitter, strongman, then yeah, lifting is the sport. But if you're an athlete, if you're a runner, if you're a combat athlete, if you're a thrower, a mountain biker, then lifting is the support for the sport. One of the things I really enjoy doing is watching Olympic lifting training. I do not do Olympic lifting. I don't train people in Olympic lifting, but I enjoy watching the athletes, the stuff the athletes do, and the amount of stuff, the comprehensive nature of their training. All they have to do is clean, jerk, and snatch. That's it. Okay, we should say squat as well. That's all they need to do. But you look at how much work they do, all the ways they develop the body in order to successfully clean, jerk, and snatch. Phenomenal. But it means their training takes time. They're in the gym nearly every day for hours at a time. Your average 40-year-old parent with 2 kids, full-time job, who trains their sport once or twice a week, competes once a week, and is trying to get into the gym as well. You don't have the ability to train with the specificity and dedication that these Olympic guys do. So you've got to cycle through things. Excuse me. If you're doing this now, then you're probably not doing that or that. So in a while, we're going to move to more of this. Then I'm not doing this or that. But then we move and we cycle through. For general health, there's a lot of guys swear by seasonal training. I kind of do a bit of seasonal training myself. At the moment, I'm focused on double kettlebell long cycle, and then in the gym, I squat. That's my winter training. When the days start getting a bit brighter, the nights get a bit longer, it's a bit less wet outside, then I'll be taking my Bulgarian bag outside. I'll move from the kettlebell work to snatch. So in the gym, I deadlift. So in the summer, I deadlift. In the winter, I squat. I don't deadlift while doing long cycle because double kettlebell clean, that puts enough stress on the back. I don't need to deadlift on top of that. And then during the summer months, because I have to be outside, snatching, Bulgarian bag, running, so I like to deadlift through the summer months. That's my seasonal training. My sporting clients, they have their off season, so we're just moving a lad who plays rugby into his in-season training. Over the winter time, we go on to a brute force and ignorance program. He spends his life in the gym, getting bigger and stronger, ready for the season. Then his training volume in the gym reduces in season because he spends much more time out in the field. We move things around. It's always what you're not doing that gets you, not what you are doing that gets you. If you're focusing on a particular lift, maybe you're not doing the other stuff. So at the moment, my double kettlebell long cycle, I'm not doing much single leg work. I'm not doing much rotational work. But in the summertime, I do a stack of single leg, a stack of rotation stuff. So it's all right. Balances out. Black and white thinking is problematic. Either or, if this, then that, is problematic. There's not a lot of instances where if I do this, then that will happen. You know, in the human body, these are few and far between. Yeah, okay, combat sports. If I squeeze your neck, you will go unconscious. All right, that's fair. But in lifting, it's a bit more nuanced. Yeah. I've never got any value in the bench press. It always hurts my shoulders. Always. Never got any value. But I love I will overhead press all day, every day. And yet there's a lot of guys who are the complete opposite. I've got guys who can't deadlift a straight bar, but they will trap bar deadlift. They might need the high handles, might even deadlift off an elevation, so-called partial reps. That's fine. Some guys, if we want to work their hip hinge, we want to develop their hamstrings, their hips, their back, deadlift would be a top tier exercise for that, but maybe they can't for some reason. So we don't get precious about it. We might do a good morning, we might do a kettlebell swing, we might do cleans, we might do broad jumps. Who knows what we're going to do? Until we've assessed the athlete and worked with them. No lift is precious. It's always about the attribute and the athlete. And it's never black and white. Never, ever black and white. So if any expert, me included, says, if this, then that, just question it. Just question it. Are we talking out of our asses? Are we making broad strokes that don't really hold any water? You know, it used to be don't let your knees pass your toes. Then it was don't flex your spine. That was McGill as well, by the way. Or from McGill's work. It wasn't actually McGill. It's from his work. Spinal flexion is bad. Don't let this don't deadlift thing become another version of that. Just as knees over toes guy. You know, that's gone too far the other way. You must do all this stuff in order to get this result. Nothing he's saying is new. It's all good stuff. But it's not new, and it's not everything he says it is. It's just another way of looking at the body. There is no black and white. Don't let anybody tell you there is. Hopefully you're enjoying these videos. This is only the second one. This is episode 2. And I do plan on doing these hopefully weekly. I send out the weekly newsletter. That's based off your questions, and then this video is based off that newsletter. So subscribe to the newsletter. It's on davehedges.net. It's also on the Wild Geese Fitness Training website. 2 ways you can sign up there. And that's by hitting reply on those newsletters. You get to send me your questions. What do you want me to talk about? I suppose you could comment on the video, and I could get your questions that way. It is YouTube, I suppose. So I'll do the whole like, comment, and subscribe thing. I'm trying to organize this YouTube channel. I've put a lot of the videos into playlists there fairly recently. I do put most of my client videos on Vimeo, simply because I find it easier to work with in terms of sending it out to clients. YouTube is great, but it's more of a social network, less of a library. But these videos, these little chats, if you like it, give us a wee thumbs up and send me your questions. We'll answer them. I enjoy answering questions. All right, so I'll let you get about your day. Go and be awesome, and I'll see you next week.